Abuse, the power dynamic is tilted. You have an adult who's preying on the child, who is manipulating the child. They tell me in interviews that they're fearful of professional reprisals, and they're fearful of never working again.
He just showed me porn, and he told me, oh, these are clients having sex with their managers. These 60-year-old men having sex with 14-year-old clients. He just told me this is normal, like this goes on all the time. This is what you have to do. Everybody does this, everybody who manages children. And he would tell me that constantly, oh no, you like it. And at some points I believed him. He would say, we could call it this guy, he would be glad to meet you. And he showed me this whole business of people that would be mad at me if I told anybody.
It is this added element where these young children are hoping to achieve a professional goal, which creates extra weight on the child. Should he or she be abused, it would make it more difficult for them to come forward in that circumstance.
Mark, he would sit down and say, oh, well, we're going to help you. I mean, you're a part of our group now. And I mean, anyone that's not a part of our group is basically on the dark side, and you want to be on our side. I mean, we control all of Hollywood. Basically, in essence, if you weren't with them, you didn't succeed, you had nothing, and he made that very clear in these sessions. Either you're a part of the group or you're a part of the dark side.
The sad part is, they can emotionally scar a child for life.
Man, I never would have guessed that Mr. Horton was, you know, gay.
Well, he's not, Willis. You know, that's the common fallacy about child molesters. They're not gay. They're only interested in little boys or little girls, not adults.
Look, I'm only 11 years old. Should I be hearing all of this?
I felt so much shame and guilt behind that secret that I held it for so long. Then I thought that all, you know, and then you start thinking that all homosexuals are pedophiles. You know, oh, guy's gay, oh, he's a pedophile. I have to watch out for him. He may try to get me or something.
People should get this clear. These people are predators. They go after young boys, and they do it for their own reasons. So this has got nothing to do with being gay. This has got to be because they're evil people, and they particularly pick on people who they know will be victims. They're predators. That's who they are.
In the beginning, it was all happy-go-lucky, and then things started changing. He slowly became different on the phone.
That's how it came across to me. Something's wrong. Something's not going right, because I can tell when he's not 100% Mark. Suddenly, he's not so happy. And suddenly he wants to come home. I never knew what that was about.
Hi.
Hi, honey.
How are you? All right, shall we go in?
Your buddy's here.
Who's that?
Mr. Alvin.
I'm very excited. So have you been to this house before?
Yeah.
Isn't this awesome?
Never been to a party here, though.
You've never been to a party? Yes.
Some good ones?
Several.
Like, how crazy do they get?
They would have big parties very often. That's what the neighbors were complaining about, that they'd have all these cars blocking the sidewalk.
They would have valet service all set up out here, and this street would be lined with vehicles. Everyone was promoted to drink. I never had one drink ever before in my life until I was at that MNC estate. I don't ever recall ever drinking. I mean, 14 years old, it wasn't the top of my list.
There was an after party. Michael Egan, Brock Pierce, Chad Shackley, and Mark Collins Rector were present. Drugs were made available to us, including Quaaludes, Valium, Somas, Vicodin, Demerol, marijuana, ecstasy, and more. Brock Pierce and Mark Collins Rector tried to push me into taking these drugs. I refused. They then offered me cocktails, which I accepted. I believe that they laced my cocktail with ecstasy.
They would pull away the better-looking younger kids and keep them for their own after party, and it would turn into a pool party. And then they'd have their rules. Oh, there's no swimsuits on in the pool.
That was the rule. If you were staying at the mansion overnight, you had to go into the hot tub naked during their parties.
Everybody's at a normal party. Nobody had swimsuits.
And the parties were not just for the young boys and for their amusement. It was also a way to entice investors. And they got a lot of investors who would jump into the hot tub with these boys.
Gary Goddard was around, Bryan Singer was there. Here'd come Bryan Singer naked getting in the hot tub, and then they'd make jokes of going and picking me up in the hot tub and setting me on Gary or Bryan's lap. And then he'd have Brock bringing in drinks and saying, oh, let's just relax and let's talk about what we're gonna do. And I mean, Brock laughing that they had put pills in my drink or all kinds of different things. I remember waking up at certain times and not knowing where I was. Yeah.
I was feeling very lightheaded, dizzy, and confused. Collins Rexter then told me I could go to sleep in his bed, but that if I went into his bed, I would have to strip naked. Collins Rexter then turned from being concerned and compassionate to forceful and threatening. I told him that I would not go to bed with him, to which he responded, well then, just don't worry about going into work tomorrow morning. I went to sit on the couch. At some point I passed out. When I awoke, I found myself in Mark's bed and completely naked with my clothes on the floor. Collins Rector was in the bed and he was naked as well.